you, spouses, friends. I am John Mulaney. I'm a sergeant up here at the Training Academy, in charge of the leadership program here at Montgomery County Police, and I'm the class coordinator for the Citizen Academy. This is the 47th session that we've had in the Citizen Academy. What started out as an 18-week program, actually a 9-week program, grew into an 18-week twice a year, and we decided we really wanted to do even more outreach and try to do it 3 times a year. We had to shorten it to 15 weeks. You're the first class in a 15-week that we were trying. So hopefully you guys didn't feel cheated at all by missing out on those 3 additional weeks, because you guys got to do the fun stuff with this last week. So on stage with me tonight, J. Thomas Major, Chief of Police for Montgomery County. Captain Mark Lazinski, he's the Director of the Training and Education Division. Lieutenant Chuck Carafano, do you remember him? He was like up at lunch last. And Herman Cohen is the President of the Alumni Association. And he's going to give you a little pitch here in a bit to continue your Citizen Academy education with him. So, without any further ado, I want to have to give a couple.
You always defer to what the chief wants. Thank you, John. I appreciate it. I appreciate the work you do here with the Citizen Academy. First of all, I want to congratulate all of you. I know it's a lot of Tuesday nights you were here, and I think you saw a lot of neat stuff. I hope from that first day I came in and saw you, maybe some of you were a little bit wary of the police, some of them were wary about what you were getting into, especially as Sergeant Mulaney was talking about the training and all that. But I think over the course of the weeks, you can see that the way we train, there's a thoughtful program with a reason behind everything we do. We wanted to give you guys a little taste of that to see what the recruits go through before they graduate our academy, before they can say that they're a Montgomery County police officer. We do this graduation here, and for us as county police officers, this is sacred territory that you're sitting on right now. Every police officer that's graduated this academy since 1973 has spent countless hours on these bricks. They're known as the bricks. If you ask any police officer about the bricks, they know what the bricks are. They learned a lot of things on these bricks. One, they learned attention to detail. They learned how to discipline, because a lot of times people come here, they don't have it. And most importantly, one of the things that we teach them here is service over yourself. Service to the community, service over yourself. And we pride ourselves on that. Now we get them there in some strange ways: push-ups, sit-ups, yelling, screaming, doing all that. But we get them used to dealing with any kind of stress, so that when they get out on the street, they will act like professionals, and that's what we expect from our officers. You guys met a lot of subject matter experts from our department. I was looking over the course work that you did today. You met the people from recruiting who recruit and hire the people that we hire, because in the end, the people is one of the most important things we do. I mean, if you set a bunch of bums here, or people who are unethical or criminal, they're going to come out of here, in a uniform, but criminal and unethical. We can't have that. So it's important about who we hire and who we choose to represent the agency, and who we trust to be police officers for the Montgomery County residents. You saw people who do specialty investigations, whether they're homicide investigations, child abuse investigations. Lieutenant Carafano in the narcotics investigation. Sergeant Mulaney, I would wish you would not talk about him laying blood. Even though they've changed the marijuana laws, it's still a penalty, and police officers do not smoke marijuana. By the training commission, we're not allowed. And so if your family members want to do that, we encourage them. There's certain restrictions on how many times they could have done it as under the age of 21 and all that. So if you know people in your families that want to do that, still talk to them about the importance, because the last thing we as officers want is our youth smoking marijuana. We don't think that's the answer. That may not be our top priority of crimes to be enforcing, but we don't want every child. I mean, my kids are here now. I tell them all the time, I never want you to smoke marijuana. So that's you learned about those things. You got to do some of the fun stuff, the tasers, you've got the firearms things, you've got to do the box drill, which is something the officers are doing now. We do it with our recruits. I heard that some of you did very well. Some of you did not so very well. This is not a handgun. This is not a knife. But if somebody's swinging at you, you're still allowed to use force. And you know, Sergeant Mullane said that you guys were very good in most of your decision making. But that moment shows you, like even in this pretend environment, the stress that you felt, the adrenaline that was going through your body, and the fact that you were unable to articulate what a pipe wrench was after you were involved in forcing that. So and the reason we do that is so that you guys can see what our officers go through and why we don't have them testify the instant that they're out of the shooting. This is an interesting time to be in law enforcement, but one of the biggest things we need right now is community support. One of the key facets of our mission statement is to partner with the public to find areas of concern that impact public safety. So we got that from you being here, and you get that from us being here. It's us working together. The Academy, one of the negatives of being here is we have very little interaction with the public. This is the best forum for us to reach out to people and show this is how we train. We're proud of our program. We're proud of the officers we put out. And I hope that when you leave here, and I've heard you, I know all of you have heard an officer say it either on TV or hopefully not in real life, is you have the right to remain silent. I'm telling you, as the director of the Academy, you are all under my command here at the Citizens Academy for one final night. You don't have the right to be silent. I need you to go out there and sell this program, tell what you learned, talk about us, and say what we're doing. Because without you guys, we can't do it. To be an effective police department, we need the public. We need you to understand us, and we need to understand you. So thank you for being here. Real quickly, I just want to thank Herman for being here, Chief Maybe for support to the program, you all for participating in it and making a sacrifice to come in here at night, and the subject matter experts who came in and talked, and mostly John for being here Tuesday nights. He's got a regular job. All the subject matter experts do too. They're here, but they're here and they're committed to this program because they're part of the community too, and they want us to be a successful police department. We know that you all are the key to that. So thank you very much.
So good evening, everyone. My name is Tom Major. I'm the Chief of Police here in Montgomery County. I've been the police chief here for 11 years. I've been a police officer for 38 years. I think I probably told you that on your first night here at the Citizens Academy. And I also promised you back then that you would have a good time and that you would enjoy this experience. And I hope that I have kept my promise. I find it ironic that this is the 47th session, by the way. Congratulations, session 47. You join a group of probably closing in on 1,500 graduates of our Citizens Police Academy over the years. And I find it ironic that every time I come to an academy graduation, I get folks that come up to me and say, thank you for this program, thank you for letting me go through this program, things like that. And frankly, we should be thanking you. And Captain Brzezinski, had the same message. We appreciate the fact that you all have given up that portion of your life to come here every Tuesday night for the last 15 weeks to learn about your police department. And of course, my hope is that what you've learned has allowed you to gain more confidence and trust in your police department. Because this is about one thing. It's about building public trust. And if you look at what's going on today around the nation with regard to police officers and police departments, you know just how important that level of community trust is. And there are lots of communities that don't have much trust for their police department. And every time CNN shows another video of another police officer doing something stupid, doing something tragic, doing something criminal in some cases, it reflects on all of us. Because people, you hear folks talk, they say, well, you know, the police, and that's it. We are all grouped together, the police. There are 18,000 police departments in the United States. 18,000 police departments. Nearly 1 million cops in this country. But people say, the police, like we're all the same. And I will tell you that since last August, when Michael Brown was shot in Ferguson, there have been conversations that have been started in this country that have just continued and gotten more intense. Conversations about use of force, about use of deadly force. Conversations about the relationship between the police department and the community. Conversations about the diversity of the police department. You know, does the diversity of your police department reflect the diversity of the community that it's serving? Ferguson was 75% African American. 60 officers in the department, 3 were African American. 3 out of 60. This is about trust. Militarization of police. I won't even get into that. But you know, all of these were conversations that came out of Ferguson. And then they continued after Cleveland, after New York, after North Charleston. It just keeps on going. And now we've got the officer in Texas. And fortunately, that wasn't a tragic outcome. But it certainly, it's a very disturbing video to watch. And may I tell you that before people even know all the facts about it, they just see it's so disturbing to watch. A grown man, a police officer, slamming a 15-year-old girl in a bathing suit on the ground. Just so disturbing to them. People just have immediately think, well, there's another guy who should be a police officer. I was speaking today before the county council for an hour and a half. I talked about, the topic was the police-community relationship. And I talked about a million things that impact, because when you talk about our relationship with the community, the same way you can't say the police, in Montgomery County you can't say the community. Because I will tell you, and it's not just that you've broken down by race, gender, ethnicity. You've got people, different faiths. You've got the business community, the schools, homeowner associations, civic associations, the new immigrants that live here, all of whom have specific concerns and issues with the police. Because when I go speak to a homeowners association in Bethesda, that's a completely different conversation than when I'm talking to Casa of Maryland over in Langley Park. Because people care about different things, and their issues with the police are very different. So all these conversations are ongoing. And I get back to the point I was going to make. As I was talking to the council, and one of the council members referred to the incident in Texas. If you haven't seen the video, there's a disturbance at a pool, at a swimming pool. Police officer gets there. It's a very chaotic scene. At some point, he slams a young girl, probably, I don't know, 16 years old, slams her on the ground. And then other folks are just, come to her aid. He steps back, pulls out a gun. Now, he pretty quickly put the gun back in the holster, but the fact that he would take it out in a situation like that certainly was very disturbing, got a lot of folks very upset. One of our council members here said, well, when I saw that, he said, I don't think that man should ever be a police officer. He's not suitable to be a police officer. So that judgment is made, and believe me, that's the last thing that cops needed to do in that situation was take his gun out. But having been in a similar situation, it ain't easy to deal with that kind of chaos when you've got all the stuff that's going on that was going on at that scene. But you've got a police officer now that is judged by that one incident. That one incident. Captain Kaczynski had a great analogy. Cal Ripken's in the Hall of Fame, but he made a few errors along the way. And so, you've now got police officers being judged by one incident that they get involved in. And man, I tell you, I've been a cop for 38 years. And you know, we're going to, in Montgomery County, we're going to start putting body cameras on our cops. And I'm going to be one of the first people to put body cameras on. Because while I've been a police officer for 38 years, I've never had to wear a body camera, and I want to see what it's like. I want to see what my cops are going to have to deal with. Because I got a feeling it's going to impact our relationship with the community. Some good, maybe some, you know, it's going to take some adjustment. Because the first time you walk up to somebody and you want to talk to them about something, and you say, well, you know, and it's being recorded, I think anybody might feel inhibited a little bit. Somebody would think, well, you know, I don't mind talking to you, but I don't want this, you know, I don't want to be recorded. It's going to be an adjustment for everybody. But I can tell you that in the 38 years I've been a cop, that there were times, I guess I'll just put it this way, there were times that if my mother was watching me, she would have been proud of her little boy. I mean, there were times when I was in situations where, did I lose my temper? Yes, I did. Did I have a lapse in judgment? Albeit temporarily, yes, I did. Now, these weren't things that got me fired or got, you know, but you know, these are things that normal human beings go through. And as long as we're recruiting from the human race to be police officers, you're going to have people that make mistakes. So, but there's plenty of reforms that need to occur in policing today. And I spoke today about it for an hour and a half, so I won't bore you with these issues. But I can tell you that things like use of force and use of deadly force, long ago we realized that we needed to change the paradigm of the training we use. Because I can tell you that back in 1977, when I went through the police academy, they told you, you know, if your life or the life of someone else is in danger, you're justified in using deadly force, and we got all kinds of training. But now, we look at situations and we think, okay, deadly force might be justified, might be legal, might be justified, but is it necessary? Is it the only option, the last resort you have? There's a notion now that cops talk about. It's like, don't create the moment. You know, you have you get a call for service. You've got a guy who's got a knife. And he's standing in the middle of a parking lot. He's waving, and it's a big knife. He's waving this big knife around. So, do you drive right up to the guy, get out of your car, now you're within about 10 feet of him, and the guy raises his knife up, boom! You shoot him. Well, you know, my life was in danger. He had this big knife, he's 10 feet away from me. He was 10 feet away from me because you walked 10 feet, you know, from him. Could you put some time and distance between you and that individual and had a different outcome? Now, if he's stabbing somebody, then clearly you've got to take immediate action. But if this guy's standing somewhere by himself, if he's in his own house, and we get calls like this every day, where folks who have mental health issues are in the house with a weapon threatening people, why run in there and create the moment? Can you step back? Can you think about how do we want to approach this? Put time and distance so that you maybe don't have to get in a situation where you need to use deadly force. That's what the public wants. You can tell them all day deadly force was justified, it was legal, it was justified. Was it necessary? Were there other ways to approach a situation that you could have avoided a use of force? That's what the public wants. And that's what we understand needs to happen with our training. This is a difficult time for police officers. And I will tell you that every year or every time I come to a Citizen Academy graduation, I talk about the fact that once folks have gone through this program, that most, and I would say the vast, vast majority of people that have been through this program become advocates for the police department. Because I firmly believe the more you know about the Montgomery County Police Department, the more confidence you will have in your police department. And I'm not telling you we're perfect. I'm not telling you we never make mistakes. I'm not telling you that we don't have officers that have engaged in misconduct and wrongdoing along the way. I've dealt with it for 11 years as chief here. But the fact is, I don't want to be judged when one of my, and I don't want my police officer judged when they make one mistake. Judge us on that mistake, but judge us on how we handle it, how we react to it, how we respond to it, how we fix it. Bring that into your judgment. That's what I ask. But I also ask that as the conversations, and these conversations are going on every day, and every time that some new video comes along on CNN, it's a new conversation, it's just new sweeping condemnations of the police. Help us out. Talk to people about what you've learned in this program. My cops need support. They put their lives on the line every day to protect this community. And I can tell you that there's a lot of my folks, a lot of cops around this nation that are starting to question whether they have the community support for what they do. I believe we do, but I believe the community also has a right to ask questions about what we do and how we do it. And that was the reason that we put this program on, to talk to you about what we do and how we do it. And you've gotten a first-hand look at this, a look that most people in this community will never have. And not only do you get to see it and hear about it, you got to experience something. And so I think this now becomes more and more every day one of the most valuable programs that we have. And so I'm so glad that you all went through it. Now, I have a question to ask. Show of hands for the graduates. How many of you were tasered? What is wrong with you? And then they say, there's a lot of women. I have always believed that women were smarter than men. Now I have to start questioning this presumption. Usually when I ask that question, you get the three goofy guys. But there's a lot of smart women that do it. So I'm going to have to talk to Mulaney. Sold you all a bill of goods. This is a serious. I mean, I know when I talk about it's a serious topic, and it is. But I would say tonight. It's a celebration. Tonight, we are thanking you for going through this program. Thanking you for your hopefully your continued support of your police department. And so it's going to be my privilege when you come up and get your certificate. Be my privilege to have my picture taken with you. And I again thank you for everything that you've done for us.